Hello, welcome back to the second episode of my corporate social responsibility podcast, which is about corporate social responsibility and how to report your business's corporate social responsibility strategy. Today, I would like to talk about the materiality analysis, which is usually what you start with when you set out um, to analyze what your business is about. Um, when you try to identify what your company's influence is on this planet and its people, and what the influence of this planet is on your company, because there might not always be enough resources. There's different resources that you can use to create your product, and it matters a lot whether you are sourcing in a way that the resources you need for your product can regrow, and you're maybe regrowing more than what you need to create your products. And materiality analysis helps you to find out how you are making your stakeholders happy. And the stakeholders might be your fans, people working in your company, the investors, politicians. We will look into who are the stakeholders you are developing your CSR reporting and strategy for. What is sustainability? Sustainability is a multifaceted concept that defies a singular definition. It encompasses various dimensions that collectively gauge a company's impact and responsibility. These dimensions include social sustainability. Social sustainability focuses on the company's influence on social aspects. Think about your workforce's health and safety. How do you handle parental leave? How do you handle diversity, diverse team building? Those could be the social aspects that you have a very large responsibility for and an impact on. And then there's economic sustainability, which is of course important to maintain your business and at the same time your employees' livelihood. Economic sustainability encompasses the quality of the products or services offered by your company, and it includes considerations such as risk assessment and the company's preparedness for future challenges. And it evaluates the resilience of your business model in adapting to changing economic landscapes, but also environmental landscapes or the social reality that your business is operating in. Ecological sustainability explores your company's ecological footprint and its impact on the planet's resources. It considers whether your company is contributing to or mitigating biodiversity loss, a critical threat to humanity and one of the planetary boundaries. We will talk about the boundaries in more detail in just a second. Ecological sustainability in the business context also assesses whether the business model aligns with stabilizing planetary boundaries or poses a threat to them. In essence, sustainability is a comprehensive evaluation that goes beyond the traditional economic perspective. It encompasses the intricate interplay between social responsibility, economic viability, and ecological harmony. By scrutinizing these dimensions, we can gauge whether a company is on a trajectory that enhances the well-being of both present and future generations. It's also called intergenerational equity. And whether it's fostering a protective and diverse environment for all. Kate Raworth's donut economics model is a very valuable tool that can help you in determining your company's materiality. The donut economics model challenges the traditional focus on endless economic growth and GDP as the sole indicators of success. Instead, it promotes a holistic approach that integrates social and environmental considerations. The model encourages policymakers, businesses, and communities to design economic systems that are regenerative and distributive, fostering well-being for both people and the planet. Kate Raworth's model has gained attention as a tool for reframing economic thinking and promoting sustainability. It encourages a shift towards a more inclusive and sustainable economic model that prioritizes the well-being of both current and future generations, so intergenerational equity. If you can see the picture of Kate Raworth's donut economics model that I have put on this slide, you would see, but this is also a podcast, that there's a ecological ceiling and also a social foundation. And between the ecological ceiling and social foundation, there is the safe space and the just space for humanity, where we can live and thrive. It's, in a nutshell, not so hard to understand that we can safely operate in this just space if we always make sure we are operating in a regenerative and distributive way. So if you would be the company founder who are making garments, and they are currently on LinkedIn posting a lot about their ambition to make jackets from regenerative materials. So their idea is to grow more forest and climate stable, diverse forest from where they can source wood, and from the material they are making a PET structure again, and from that structure they want to make jackets. This is an example of regenerative sourcing, because the idea is not to just chop down trees and make jackets out of them, but the general business model idea is to regrow more climate stable forest and to protect it through the business model of the company. It's not the idea to buy the wooden material, the wood to make the jackets from another company, but the idea is to take full responsibility of the biodiversity of such a forest, making sure it will stay as it is, and in the process there would be more forest. Like the more jackets you're selling, the more sustainable forest you're growing. So in essence, that's how you can think about regenerative business model idea, where the sourcing of the material is not taking away more from the planet's resources than the planet is keeping. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that makes sense to make money making a product, but at the same time, thinking about the future of your children and the air that they are going to need to breathe, that needs to come from the biodiversity around them. So company being responsible for a loss of biodiversity, that would be a problem. But then part of the donut economics model is also social equity, peace and justice. Maybe you've heard of the risk assessment that the World Economics Forum is doing each year, and they're posting a list of the biggest threats for humanity. And one huge threat is, of course, the political divide, a divide in society where we're no longer capable to make joint decisions. And I like to think of a kindergarten group where half of the pupils or the kids, they want to play soccer, but there's a group of kids that they don't want to include. And yeah, in my kids' school, it's the same. There's only one playground where they can play soccer. And if they cannot come to terms whose turn it is to play on the soccer field, and they're just discussing whose turn it is to play, if they don't come to this agreement that like maybe everyone can play, then a 25-minute or even a 45-minute break between classes can be over before anybody has had fun playing soccer. And this is why a societal divide is a really big threat right now to humanity, because if we cannot stop our wars and quarrels, then we cannot focus on fixing our imminent threats caused by biodiversity loss, land conversion, freshwater withdrawals, chemical pollution, ocean acidification, then the ozone layer depletion, air pollution, and so on and so forth. So it's really important to have this social foundation. And what is needed for a social foundation is also education, as I said, equality, social equity. People need to feel they are safe and they have access to good medical care. Of course, they cannot be hungry. They need food and water and energy and housing in order to be able to make smart decisions that can contribute to a safe and just space for humanity. Oops. I was hopping over one slide. But now that we have this concept in our head about what sustainability is, and our goal is to create a materiality analysis for our business, what we need to know next is that every company is different. Every company is different, and there are similarities between business models, but there are so many business models on this planet, and this is why you can't just go to Google and ask for a I don't know, materiality framework that you can use for your company, because your company is not going to be the same as a company in the same industry. There's going to be different people working in your company. You might have a slightly different vision and mission, slightly different stakeholders, and so on and so forth. So there is so many companies and business models on this planet. So in order to get to this Word document or Excel sheet crowded with data that can become the foundation of your materiality, we have to embrace the fact that we are different and we need this vast data collection before we can come to a good understanding of what our materiality is and how our materiality data can inspire us and like teach us what our biggest leverage is for the environment, for society, and for powering our economic success at the same time. That's why we need to do an extensive data collection, and I will show you how. And even though there is a lot of data required, I have a really cool approach to do it in a structured and calm fashion so that it doesn't become too overwhelming, and it's going to be fun, and you can come to so many great takeaways that help you also with the quality of your product, with your risk assessment, all at the same time, that I'm usually telling my students and companies that great CSR based materiality assessment today is just as valuable for a company as the quality and risk assessment, and it should actually all go hand in hand and happen at the same time. And why would you have three separate processes? You also don't do that usually when you are creating a new model or a new product. You would usually not separate quality management entirely from risk assessment. So why would you separate your materiality for CSR from your quality control and risk control? So while you're at it and you have all these expensive, juicy brains of your subject matter experts in one room, you should try to also have the person in your company in this room responsible for CSR. Maybe you're a smaller company and you have one person. Maybe your company is so small that you don't even have a person, but somebody wearing the CSR hat, because let's say you got like 3, 4, or 5 people working in your company, or maybe you're even the sole person who just started your own business. Then I think that you should do materiality in order to get to a great CSR strategy already right from the beginning when you go into the creation of your either product or service. So enough with the talking. Let's go into it. Let's cut the chase and get to the materiality. So start if you want to start simple and you've never done this before. Just you might want to start with an Excel sheet, and you might want to, or I would recommend you pull out the global reporting initiatives disclosures. So they're also called the GRI, that's the acronym for Global Reporting Initiative. And also pull up the European Sustainability Reporting Standards, even when you're not operating in the European Union, then you should be pulling up those at the same time and basically try to report or find the data to the disclosures of both the GRI and the ESRS. And yeah, the reason is because they're a little bit different. You could use them as a tool, as a framework to find out about your company's materiality. They are both built in a similar fashion, so they are basically asking you the relevant questions. What are you doing in terms of social sustainability? What is your company doing in terms of environmental and economic stability and sustainability? And then you go through this step by step, and you're getting your data. And if you cannot answer something, then you have to approach the respective subject matter expert, and that can be the people in event management, in procurement, in logistics, and so on and so forth. And you're building your data and getting an understanding of what your company does. And the two standards, they are helping you to find out what your company's influence is on the planet and what the planet's influence is on your company. Additionally, by the way, what I do as well is that I apply the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. There's even free tools if you look for the SDGs that can help you as well to get a better grasp of your materiality. So I highly recommend looking that up as well. So now we have a lot of data. And as I said, no two companies are the same. So there's going to be a lot of disclosures from the GRI and ESRS that you cannot report on because you have nothing to do with a certain chemical, and then that disclosure for you falls under the table, so it doesn't belong to your materiality. So that's basically what the process is, that the standards help you to find out what matters for your business and what you should be focusing on the most. In this process, and if you're using an Excel sheet, write down a list with all of your stakeholders. This is a really nice picture here, where you can see which stakeholders are there that could be relevant to your business. Other businesses, colleagues, shareholders, trade associations, suppliers, your customers, and you could be sitting down with the groups of stakeholders that are relevant to you and ask them questions, or you already had marketing analysis, and maybe you are even conducting assessments regularly. Then you should maybe collaborate with the marketing teams that are conducting the research and add questions that you need to identify what matters for your community in regards to the disclosures or the materiality of your business. ESRS and GRI are sorted by environmental, social, and governance disclosures. We are walking through all of the disclosures and the SDGs of the United Nations, as I said. And we are leaving out the ones that are not relevant to us. And I have prepared a couple of practical examples so it's easier for you to understand what critical materiality would be for you and what disclosures could be the ones that would not be relevant to your business. Apple, for instance, has an influence on rare earths, so it's their responsibility to source them without destroying biodiversity, without child labor, and if that's not possible, it's their responsibility to exchange the materials they need for a different materiality. For instance, there is in Finland already silos storing renewable energy, and they can operate without rare earths. They are basically just filled with sand, and this technology is now being extended, so it could also be a solution for other companies to find in physics, in chemistry, in tech solutions that help them to operate without elements so rare that they're basically just destroying, or the extraction is just destroying living spaces for people and threatening intergenerational equity. Nike or Adidas shoes are making shoes from traditional plastics, and plastics are made from rare oil and not rare, pure. Like it's a fossil based material that causes two kinds of problems. Like in the first place, it's never a cool idea to use fossil fuels because they're limited, and in 100 years we might be in need of them for certain processes. We can't know today what we need rare materials for. By the way, of course, another solution to the usage of rare materials is circular economy. So if you absolutely have to produce a new telephone, then the telephone should be produced in a way that it can be easily assembled and disassembled, it can easily be repaired, and all of the materials used in production go back into the process, so there is no materiality loss, and there's also no need to dig for more rare materials. And we already might have dug up enough and be able to find them in our existing landfills. There's also a term called design for circularity. That's why it is so important to do materiality assessment in the basically design phase of your product, because if you can eliminate ecological and social threats already in the design process and already establish something that humanity can benefit from, such as in the design and sale of this product, we're actually growing a climate stable forest, then that is of course a very simple way to assure your company is not causing any harm through its business model. Some shoe companies have promised that the shoes that they are making are from ocean plastics only, but then there have been a lot of scandals where it was identified that the plastics just came from trash bins close to the oceans and not from actual ocean plastics. So, of course, in order to not take a hit on your brand, it's a really good idea to actually take ocean plastics out of the oceans that would otherwise end up in our food system. That's a really, really nice sustainable practice. And if your car company has a facility close to a bigger city and it needs water for coolage, then it's of course a really good idea to use the water in a responsible way, reuse the water, and not just like use it, pollute it, and throw it away. There's more and more water shortages, and a company operating close to a bigger city could endanger an entire city's water resources, and then that would definitely be a critical aspect in the materiality analysis process. Not all the materials will be touched by your company. So after your assessment, you will know what materiality matters to you, and then you have achieved a double materiality analysis. You know, on one hand, how you influence the materiality of this planet and how the materiality of this planet is influencing your business. Now, the next step is but I have already touched on that a little bit. If you have an influence on plastics, that you think about this further and try to solve the problem through changing your business model. And that's when we are moving in the direction of triple materiality. So double materiality is basically, here's my CSR report, I'm influencing the world's influencing me, and we have really nice products, like something along those lines. Triple materiality, though, is, hey, we are using up this amount of water, and in relation to the amount of water available for people in this country, this is the percentage in relation to the actual amount of water available. So the moment you are creating context to the actual resource available, like, okay, this is the amount of trees I'm taking out of forests, and this is the amount of trees I'm basically taking out, and the amount I'm restoring. The moment you are putting your operation in context, then you're already in the realms of triple materiality, and a really good CSR report and strategy that is not greenwashing and trustworthy is doing just that, extending beyond double materiality and reporting your CSR in context of let's say, you could also put it this way, in the context of Kate Raworth's donut economics model. So if I'm just reporting on my data, that's nice, but is it a really trustworthy source or piece of information then for the stakeholders? Will they be able to understand what your company is really doing to this planet and what your company is achieving for intergenerational equity. No, it's not. And if you want to portray how you are contributing to a safe and just space in which humanity can operate, then you need to communicate your triple materiality as well. This is it for today. I hope that you have some key takeaways. Yeah, it's a little bit hard for me to assess which topics I should be talking about next. So please subscribe to my podcast on Spotify. Please subscribe to my Substack, or if you are watching this on YouTube, please click on the little bell so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. And let me know in the comment what you would like to hear about next, because I'm totally into your suggestions. So if you would like to see more in detail next, what the CSR report could look like, or how you can integrate your CSR report into your financial report, or maybe you would like to hear more about real world examples, because there's a lot of companies who were just, I don't know, didn't have any CSR strategy at all, and then had a double materiality strategy, and then thought maybe, oh, this is not enough, I want to do more, and then they switched to triple materiality. There's really cool real life examples that I could be talking about, inspirational stories, or I could be talking about my story, how I ended up in CSR. Yeah, so let me know. I enjoy creating this content a lot, and I'm absolutely happy to cater to your curiosity. Thank you so much for listening. It is my heart's desire to improve company CSR, because I know from a sociological perspective that the more individuals and companies are changing and doing their part, the more we have the political foundation, and the more likely it is that we are truly creating a safe and just space for humanity. That's what I'm getting up for every day. It really fascinates me to look into companies that have achieved this, and yeah, it would mean the world to me if you would come with me on this journey of transforming as many business models as possible. I'm doing that for a living. I'm helping companies to transform their business model. Yeah, I can think about nothing else than triple materiality and changing companies on a business model level. I just love to come up with sustainable ideas and help in the transformational process. So yeah, let me know how you like this episode and what you would like to hear about next. Thank you again so much for listening, and have a nice week.